thanks very much indeed. At 8:30, we're going to be speaking to the Secretary for Work and Pensions about that, Ian Duncan-Smith.
England were knocked out of Euro 2012 last night, losing to Italy in a tense penalty shootout.
After a goalless match, the Italians sailed into the semis by 4-2. It's the 6th time England have bowed out of a major tournament on penalties.
Our sports correspondent Ollie Foster joins us live from Krakow this morning. And Ollie, there was a moment, even during that penalty shootout, when we dreamt, didn't we? And then it all went wrong.
8 minutes past 8.
Celebrations are continuing in Cairo's Tahrir Square after the Islamist Mohamed Morsi was confirmed as Egypt's first freely elected president.
In his victory speech, Mr Morsi called for national unity and said the revolution which overthrew Hosni Mubarak last year would continue until its goals were met. Our World Affairs correspondent, John, thanks very much indeed. John Lyon reporting from Cairo.
One other story for you. Lonesome George, who was a giant tortoise from the Galapagos Islands, believed to be the last of its subspecies, has died.
Yep.
Time now, 14 minutes past 8.
Carol will bring you the weather forecast in about 5 minutes' time. Now, though, with just 32 days left until the Olympics begin, Britain's athletes training hard, and the Games are going to be particularly special for the British heptathlete Jessica Ennis, who missed competing in Athens back in 2008 because of an injury.
Although she's already qualified for the heptathlon, Jess took part in the British Olympic trials in Birmingham at the weekend, and she's admitted there's still work to do on her long jump, but saw success in the high jump and the hurdles of some of those events now. So we'll chat in just a second.
Pleased with that.
You see, we all watch that and think, God, you look good, you look smooth, you look fast. Do you sit and look at it entirely differently?
Yeah, definitely.
Come on, it's inside the head of Jessica Ennis. Do you have a thing you do in your head, literally, when you're on the blocks? Is there a kind of ritual or thought ritual or something you think of, or do you think of nothing? What goes on?
I tend to just think of like one or two things, so two like technical things that I have in my mind, and then I think every athlete has a ritual.
It was only last month when you were in Manchester and you got a personal best, which you thought was a personal best, and then you realised that there were only 9 hurdles out, not 10. Now, at the time, people couldn't believe that something like that. Just check the number of hurdles now, do you, before you do a race?
How is that feeling? Because you've got a job to do,
Yeah.
to run and to jump, and you've got a lot of other stuff going on. How's that feel?
Yeah,
It looks at you as somebody who is absolutely in perfect health and perfect weight. But of course you had that person, unnamed official, quibbling about the fact that perhaps you're carrying too much weight. Now tell us about that and the impact that had on you. And your training on balance.
Yeah.
Jessica Ennis, 21 minutes past 8. Still to come on the programme this morning, she stormed. Go to Wimbledon now.
So the agony of a penalty shootout and, of course, the misery of failure. Last night's game left England fans with their heads in their hands once again.
Italy go through to square up against Germany, while England left to reflect on the curse of penalties. Graham Satchell watched the torture alongside fans from both sides.
RBS with Jones, NatWest and Ulster Bank says most services should be back to normal today after the computer glitch which left millions of customers unable to access their accounts.
More than 50,000 staff at Revenue and Customs are due to go on strike today in protest at job cuts and the involvement of private firms in their work. The PC
Campaign.
Those are the main stories this morning. Here's what's coming up on breakfast.
Tracy Austin.
That was Paul Heaton, the housewife.
We will be speaking to Tracy Austin, who doesn't look like that, in a few minutes. Of course, it's the first day of Wimbledon today. We'll get her thoughts on Andy Murray, for example.
Here are the House Martins. I'm here on breakfast, but we're going to go back to our main news now. David Cameron calling for a national debate on what he says is our something-for-nothing culture.
Joining us now is welcome. Thank you very much for your time. I know you're struggling with the voice. We can let you get a glass of water now. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Some honey and lemon.
That's what he needs.
20 to 9. The former House Martins and beautiful South frontman Paul Heaton is following in the footsteps of Blur's Damon Albarn for his latest project. He's changed direction from his pop roots. He's written an opera.
Yes, the 8th is a soul opera, which looks at the 7 deadly sins and a new modern sin. Before we talk to Paul, find out what that might be, let's remind ourselves of some of his best-known hits.
To celebrate turning a certain age.
Yes, yeah, I've just done a bicycle tour, which I thought would keep me nice and fit, but it was a bicycle tour of pubs, so it sort of kept me fit.
And it was called
the day.
50-50.
Yeah, it was.
So tell us about the opera, because people might be thinking that's not something they would naturally associate you with. What is the project?
Well, revealing what the eighth sin is, because all the way through the whole thing, you don't realise what the eighth sin is. You just know that the other 7 deadly sins have been talking.
And talks about his
people
dreams.
senseless.
Well, you come in and you try and talk about them, don't you? And I say it didn't happen.
haven't
It didn't
really
actually
with it.
happen.
You
Behind the bar? Sometimes.
No, I collect glasses and you've got to have that. To me, if you just bite into the egg, it's like...
It used to be an advert, didn't it? How long can you keep saying to yourself, one day I'm going to go to Australia?
Yeah.
Do you think back and wish you'd had bigger aspirations for the band at the height of their success at the House Martins?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, the House Martins didn't even go to America, and there's...
But in such emotive terms.
Yeah, no.
Both of those images are a little painful at this time of the morning.
I don't have any ill relatives or any puppies, just in case your viewers are worried.
Point well made. Well, good luck with the concerts.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Lovely
And the
to see you
tour.
here.
And you, yeah. Cheers,
And how are you finding 50?
Brilliant. I think it's...
Lovely to see you.
The Opera The Eighth will be touring from next month, and the album of the same name is out on the 2nd of July.
Here's Carol with a look at this morning's weather. Morning again, Carol. Lovely, Carol. Thank you very much.
Imagine living through 100 years of history, from the brutal world of the Edwardian class divide to the Bay City Rollers.
That is the premise of the new BBC series Turn Back Time. 3 families living side by side in the seaside town of Morecambe, just as they might have done in the past.
And the Meadows family were one of those facing that challenge. They're all here this morning.
That faced you, you knew that there were going to be a family. Look. Turn Back Time is on BBC One tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Glenn Fry is here in just a moment, talking more about him, the history of the Eagles, lots to talk about. Let's have a quick last look at what's happening where you are first.
Stay with us. Heaton was just here talking about the fact that a song came to him in a dream. Has that ever happened to you?
You and one of the other band members were threatening each other with violence.
Well, we had
When it was all melting down in the bad days when it was going wrong.
Yeah, that was at the end of 1980. You know, after we'd been together for 9 years. You know.
And was there a confrontation on stage?
There was a little bit of. You know, the Eagles were together for 9 years, and
Do you think you became a bit of a monster?
well, no. I think I'm.
Take a break. Was it because you wanted to stay where you were at the top, being successful? You're too nervous to just take a step back, or you're just not mature enough at this stage? And we're going to be back 6 o'clock tomorrow morning on BBC One, where we'll bring you all the latest from the first day of Wimbledon.
Second day tomorrow,
The next
Tuesday,
day
first
of
day today.
Wimbledon.
Carol's been there, looking at the lovely sunshine. Long may it continue. And
Oh,
Sally will
yeah.
be there with Tim Henman for us tomorrow morning.
So until then, have a lovely day. Goodbye.